his voice as a voice of authority in terms of the progress made so far. So let me start with you, Okang'o.
Yes,
a lot has been mentioned, but reflecting on what the chair has said and what Azimio lieutenants have equally mentioned in terms of not pending their signature to that bill, we've heard of Azimio leader Raila Odinga saying it should pass as is because he's skeptical of some people with other, they might not mean well for the report as is. What's your...
Thank you, Jesse. First of all, let me start from what we call the framework agreement. Remember, this NADCO report is a negotiated document. It's a negotiated document that went through extensive public participation. And the people were invited. There were over 42 meetings, over 700 written submissions from the public, over 240 appearances of stakeholders, experts, and therefore it was enriched by the people's views, other than the committee from the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. Number two, I've listened to JLAC chair. Remember JLAC chair, Honorable Murungara, with all due respect, failed in the first instance of bipartisan talk. Is the reason why the first bipartisan failed, because he was not available for meeting and he could make excuses as alleged or as seen and communicated by our then co-chair Otiende Amolo. Now, this report has got critical deadlines. The first one is within 21 days. Remember, the report has been adopted by the bicameral house. So the framework agreement says that upon adoption, within 21 days, the two parties shall nominate a panel that is going to audit the 2022 presidential elections. Okay. Within 6 months, upon adoption, the parliament shall enact a county review bill, so that we look at the issue of county boundaries. 6 months again on the issues of electoral justice. But I want to say this briefly. This report has got what is called protection of consensus, in the view that the report is a culmination of substantive engagements and participation of the people. It means the people have given their views. And that's why in the protection of consensus clauses of the framework agreement, it says that once an issue has been canvassed through coalition party ranks and agreed, that issue shall be ring-fenced from amendment. Now, the report did not come as a report as Murugara wants to put it. It came with 9 legislative instruments, starting with on the issue of IBC Amendment Act 2023, EACC Amendment Act 2023.
So they're not 8, they're 9.
They are 9,
including
the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2023 that they have no power to amend. Now, that tells you that the report, if presented to Parliament, the only thing that can happen is if they realize, for example, in the changes that are provided for in one of the bills, like IEBC Amendment Bill 2023, that proposes to amend some sections, or the Constitutional Amendment Bill that proposes to amend Article 138 to provide for roles of the commissioners in verifying presidential results, and it says 137(2), while it should be 137(3), those are issues that they can amend. But the substantive issues of the bill that were presented by the people of Kenya, they cannot change it. However, the process requires that they facilitate as Parliament public participation. So in that process, the people should know what is in the amendment bill of IEBC, what is in the amendment bill of the opposition, bill or leader of official opposition, and so on and so forth. That process, we agree, must go on. But they cannot change the content largely to deviate from the real idea. That one cannot happen. So I can submit by saying, Honorable Murugara must stop holding brief if he's holding any. And if you recall, Raila Odinga in his last media appearance, where I was there, and he said that there are certain forces within Parliament and outside Parliament that are hell-bent on derailing this process. President William Ruto, while receiving the report at State House, did commit to the people of Kenya that he will do everything possible to ensure that the NADCO report is implemented. It is the duty of Parliament today to implement that report pronto.
I think, as you come in, basic structure, doctrine of the Constitution,